In this video, we're just going to take a quick look at the global settings on our Elementor page. So we find that by clicking on the menu here and going into Settings, Global Settings. Now, these are just some little default settings that will apply throughout your website, and they're just handy to know where they are. Right, so the first setting here is our default generic fonts. So basically, if for some reason your website cannot load the fonts that you are using for it, this is the default font that it'll fall back on. And there's a handful of core default fonts for web browsers, and this is where you'd enter them. So it pretty much acts as a fail-safe for your font styles. In this case, it's just set up for sans serif, so it's just the standard fonts. So it'll probably use something like Arial or Helvetica, depending on what computer you're on. So that's a fairly safe option. I wouldn't change that. I'd recommend leaving it on that. Now, the content width, it tells you there by default it goes for 1140. I'd pretty much leave that alone for now as well, till you get a bit more comfortable with the environment. And then there's this option here, widget space. And if you remember, all these little blocks or parts on our page are called widgets. And what the widget space is how much space is around these widgets by default when you bring one into your page. So if we change this number here, say we go to 40, you'll notice that everything spaces out a bit more because we haven't changed any of those default widths on any of these widgets. Okay, so that's one that you might want to play with, because as you can see, even just changing that from 20 to 40 made a big difference with our use of white space on our page. Okay. And it's just easier to change the default and get the bulk of your layout right, and then just tweak the ones that you need to adjust individually later. Okay. Now, those next two settings, again, I wouldn't play with them at this stage. It's for more advanced sort of work. Okay. So all I'm going to change for now is my widget space, and I'm going to change that to 40 and update that.